people ask me, how were those 1000 days for you? So my answer was and is and always will be that when I was going through those 1000 days, they were really tough. When I was writing about those 1000 days, they were really tougher. But now, when I've written it and I read about it and I speak about it, I really kind of every time I talk about it, I think I'm learning something.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of season 3 of Books and Us, the podcast where we discuss books and engage in meaningful conversations with authors in the non-fiction space. Today I'm deeply honored to refer to all of you not just as listeners but also as viewers because we are starting our video podcast also with this episode, and I hope you appreciate it and give us your feedback about how you found it. For the first topic which we have chosen for this video podcast is a deeply sensitive and universal theme, caregiving. We all know that at some point in our lives, we find ourselves caring for a loved one, often for long stretches of time. And it can be a very deep emotional, physical, and a spiritual journey for us. And this is what happened with Dr. Rajiv Mathur, who is a guest today, and his remarkable book in which he discusses caregiving. The book's name is 1000 Days, A Story of a Minute, uh, in which he describes that he was the primary caregiver for his father from 2019 to 2022, just after COVID. And he describes in the book how this was a deeply emotional journey for him, during which he reflected on life, relationships, and the true meaning of love and remembrance. The book is an ode to caregiving as also to the medical fraternity, which is deeply entrenched in our lives, which we realize only in the times of a health crisis, like we did during COVID, that how important the health sector is for us. So, Rajiv, it's wonderful to have you with us today.
Thank you very much, Ranjit, for having me on your show. It's a delight.
Just to give you background about Dr. Mathur, he has a doctorate in business administration and he has spent over 3 decades in the industry security sector. And naturally, he's a very sensitive and creative person, so that led him to writing books. He has authored 2 books till now. The first was Pocket Square, and the second book is actually a Hindi translation of the book which we are discussing today, about 1000 Days, Story of a Minute. Its Hindi version was recently released during the New Delhi World Book Fair. Dr. Mathur also runs a YouTube channel. The title of his program is called Jane Anjane with Rajiv Mathur, which translates to the known and the unknown with Rajiv Mathur. In that, he engages in conversations on life's journey with people of different walks of life. Dr. Mathur is currently Dr. Mathur currently serves as a partner at MIGS Global Consulting, a subsidiary of MidCat Advisory. He sits on the advisory board of OSPAs, or Outstanding Security Performance Awards, and is the vice chairman, training and faculties at ICI SSM. He is also professor of practice and a visiting faculty at several universities and colleges. So, Dr. Mathur, welcome once again. Your book has a
Thank you
very
so much.
unusual, yes, yeah, your book has a very unusual title attached to it, Story of a Minute. So, what does that signify in the context of your father's journey?
Thank you so much, Ranjit, for having me. This is an interesting question, and the disclaimer is that every time I am asked this question, I am reminded of several warnings from my family. Do not disclose because that spoils the theme of the book. But I
Okay.
can't help it. If I don't tell it, nobody will buy the book. So I have to tell it. um, Yes. So as the name, as the name suggests, 1000 days, a story of a minute. So this talks about a particular incident that happened in a minute that changed the next 1000 days. And as you very rightly said, it's a personal experience. It's a life, memoir, so to say, for a life out of a lifetime that I've shared in the book. So it goes this way that you have mentioned that I was a caregiver to my father from 2019 to 2022. So it exactly starts on 11th of November 2019. So 11th November 2019 was my son's 21st birthday. And my father was saying that he's not feeling well, so that he want to go uh, to the doctor. Obviously, it's being my son's birthday. My mother said that we won't go to the doctor today. We'll go there tomorrow. But he insisted that he wants to go to the doctor on the same day. So it was coordinated. The doctor also said that I'm busy till from such and such time. Actually, the time was fixed at about say 12:30, but it was a Monday, and I went to the office. But after I left, he said that I'm not feeling well. I want to go to the doctor now. So my wife coordinated, and doctor said, "Be there by 10:30. I'll be busy from 11 to 12:30. So be there in time, and I'll I'll see him." So the moment he went to the hospital, the doctor was checking him, and she said that let us do a ECG. Then Ranjitji, the moment he was taken to the ECG table, and the moment he laid down on the ECG table, he had a cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest means that he was gone. There was a flat line in the ECG. But you know, since he was in the center of medical attention, all immediate action. They all got into quick action. CPR was given, electric shock, etc. Whatever the medical procedures are given, and he was revived. So that was that 1 minute. That 1 minute, if would have happened 5 minutes before or 10 minutes after, the story could have been different. So that 1 minute, so he was revived, and when he finally left us on 1st of August 2022, and we had his prayer meeting on 7th of August 2022. So if we see by the calendar, from 11th November 2019 to 7th August 2022. These are exactly 1000 days by the calendar. So 1000 days, a story of a minute. That's how the title is.
Yeah, so why do you say that you felt that everything had come together at that time and it felt miraculous? Is that why? I mean, is it because of the timing and that he said that he wants to go to the hospital that day and that he was right there when the cardiac arrest happened, so that he could be saved? So, is that what you're referring to?
Exactly. So, in fact, an evening before he started saying that, I have to go to the doctor tomorrow, and there was my my father and my mother were, arguing, Kal, it's our grandson's birthday. No need to go to the doctor. Everything is all right. We'll go day after, etc. But he insisted that he wanted to go. The time was fixed was 12:30. I left. It was a Monday. I left for the office as for a regular day. But after I left, he insisted that I want to go early. My wife called the doctor and she said, "I'm busy from 11 to 12:30. If you can be there by 10:30, I will also come early." My, my wife and parents, they could reach there by 10:30. The doctor came at 10:30. She checked him in time. He was laid on the table right at that moment. 5 minutes. If there was one more person, undergoing a ECG on that table, he could have. He was supposed to wait. My father should have waited for 5 more minutes, or at that particular, if the ECG was done and it was okay, and they would have left and come back home in 10, 15, 20 minutes, would have been different. So everything just, fell in place,
Precise.
and
Yeah.
very, very precise. I think And when I say a minute, I'm saying minute is too much. It was 30 seconds,
Mm.
kind of they run they call it a code blue in different hospitals, different codes. So code blue is the severe, the highest, most emergency situation. Everybody rushed in, they managed, they pumped in the CPR, the electric shock. Had he been in another cabin, not in the
Yeah,
ECG
yeah.
cabin,
Even
where
a,
they could do
yeah.
this, so that's why I say it was a miracle. Definitely, it was a miracle.
So when your father was hospitalized, what sort of dialogue was going on inside you? What were the issues? Because I know I've been through this, and I know not many people know or appreciate what goes on because it's not you want to focus and you want to be on one track that your parent or your loved one stays safe and you only want to take care of that, but there are so many issues involved. So what all, give us an idea what goes on.
Uh, uh, so in this particular case of my father, even after the cardiac arrest, he was revived. We did a angiography. So we thought, somebody would do an angioplasty or maximum bypass, and things should come under control. But when angiography happened, the doctor says the angioplasty is not possible. There was still many twists and turns within the arteries and veins to angio. All three arteries, 90% blockage, and no angioplasty possible, no ballooning possible. The heart surgeon said that he's too weak to undergo um, bypass, because we have to shift him to a ventilator. Coming back from ventilator to the normal breathing is tough. So let's wait. Incidentally, I went with Ashok to a doctor who was his friend to an hospital, and he understood the situation. And like a friend, he advised that whatever you are saying, the option is bypass, but bringing him from one hospital to another hospital was really difficult. Nobody advised. So he said it's like a sitting Scorpio. Whenever it wakes up next time, it will do the harm it will do, and you won't be able to do anything. You can't do anything at that point of time. So that stayed with us all the time, especially in one of my elder brother's mind, all the time. This when is the Scorpio waking up next time, and we won't be able to do.
And you keep
And
mentioning it in the book, the sitting Scorpio.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
the sitting Scorpio. And if you mentioned in the opening that it was COVID time. Everything was cut down. You can't get out of your room, leave out, house or society that you live in. And in that situation, if Scorpio would have woken up, I don't know what. So I passed, matlab, now when I'm talking about it after. So people also, I'll just digress a little bit and come back to the answer. People ask me, how were those 1,000 days for you? So my answer was and is and always will be that when I was going through those 1,000 days, they were really tough. When I was writing about those 1,000 days, they were really tougher. But now when I've written it and I read about it and I speak about it, I really kind of, every time I talk about it, I think I'm learning something. So, so coming back there, so those 1,000 days, I had no clue what to do if that Scorpio will wake up. And doctor has said it will wake up and you won't be able to do anything. So Ranjit ji, if not more, I would go and check if the Scorpio is still sleeping or has it woken up every hour.
Yeah.
So you can imagine 24,000 hours I was waiting for that Scorpio to, kind of wake up. When will this happen? But now I feel that, I was really fortunate enough that I could get those 1,000 days more to do whatever little bit I could do. Yeah.
You also described how the prolonged hospital stay affected your father. This was the second time, like he came home and then he was again hospitalized after that, right?
Yeah, just about 2 days. So I would say it was. I mean, it could kind of treat it as a continuity only. It
Okay,
was just
yeah.
for 48 hours, less than 48 hours.
So you witness hallucinations by your father and disorientation, and
Yeah,
I've been all through this, so
yeah,
I know
yeah.
how this can be. So how was it for you? How were you able to cope?
No, I wasn't able to. It was too overwhelming for me. Then, uh, so what happens is a long or a prolonged stay in the hospital, and that too in ICU, creates something called hospital syndrome. You get into a one particular type of smell, very cold kind of temperature, not getting out, not seeing the sun, not seeing the green. So that creates hallucination. That is called hospital syndrome. People start hallucinating, thinking very weird, and so more in certain cases, and I have seen observed since I got more interested towards such situations. This is my observation that sometimes doctors say take the patient home because going home out of the smell, out of
Yes,
this
yes,
white walls, out of this beep sound, the patient will get better, and that happens. That actually happens.
yes.
So the long stay in the hospital, smell, everything white, no sunlight, no green, and that beep, that creates. At that time, it was really overwhelming. And as I said, when I was writing it, it was, I used to, it was, again, troublesome. But when I talk about it and we talk about good memories about my father, it is really funny. And in family, when we talk, my kids and so हमको बहुत हंसी आती है वो किस्से सुन के भाई what he used to do at that time. But that time, during that time, we didn't know what to do. There was no answer.
Yes, and also, I think if you look at it in retrospect, you don't even find words. You can't even find words to just express what you felt at that time, and because it's a feeling or it's an experience.
Yeah, true, true.
It,
Overwhelming.
yeah.
Overwhelming is the word.
So then you've spent 1,000 days with your father, alongside your father, up to and through COVID. So what reflections do you carry from that time about him, about yourself, and about the bond that you shared?
तो मुझे अब ऐसा लगता है और मुझे हमेशा ऐसा लगता है that God has been really really kind to me, that I am fortunate enough that I have the opportunity to look
Yes.
after my parents. I mean, I really am very very thankful to God. Number one. Number two, I'm again very, very thankful to the God that I have an amazing support system in terms of my family, uh, my brothers, sister, brother-in-law. Very amazingly helpful. Third, COVID was it was a nightmare for the entire world. Nobody expected, and people, it changed the way we look at life. But had I had I been in a situation which was normal world, 9 to 6, काम भी करना है, outstation भी जाना है, travel भी करना है, and so मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि you know COVID was a blessing in disguise for me because
वो नहीं
I
होता, हाँ.
was
या वो नहीं
I
हो
was
पाता.
at home.
या अदरवाइज नहीं हो
I
पाता. हाँ.
अदरवाइज नहीं हो पाता. 1,000 दिन आप कैसे घर में हैं आप? तो रजी जी सिचुएशंस बहुत ही COVID, बहुत. So I stay in a housing society. There are 5 apartments on our floor. Um, all 4 apartments were infected with COVID. Uh, Next door neighbors, my father's very dear friends, both husband, wife, uncle, and auntie, they died maybe on a gap of 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Uh, his few friends within the community. And so you asked me what was my so we had to hide this information from him
Yeah, yeah, I
because
can believe that. Yeah.
suddenly he's gone, she's gone, this is happening, that is happening. uh, where I stay, just across the road is a multi-specialty hospital, and there was 24/7 ambulance sirens going 24/7,
Mhm.
and these kind of news. And but we had to keep him entertained. Everything
Mhm.
is all right. He will be, and uh, uh, I feel, even today I feel that he had no idea what happened to him.
Mhm.
Even today I feel, I do not know if I'm right or wrong, but I still feel that he did not know that he had a cardiac arrest. He did not know that he had some heart issue, etc. Because till the last time also, uh, मेरा मतलब ये हार्ट चेकअप क्यों कराना है, मेरे को कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट क्यों दिखाना है, मेरे को तो सांस सांस में प्रॉब्लम हुई थी और ऐसा था. तो ये अभी सोच के बड़ा इट्स वेरी फनी. तो तो वो मैनेज करना कि ये इन्फॉर्मेशन उनसे कैसे छुपाओ, इतने एम्बुलेंस का शोर, कोविड है, आपको न्यूज चल रहा है 24 घंटे, यू आर इन फ्रंट ऑफ द टेलीविजन, ही वुड नो दैट व्हाट्स हैपनिंग. एंड this is, I think I could, uh, either it could be a miracle or the effect of all the medicine that he was having for last so many days, or a miracle again. My mother, my wife, uh, my son, not my daughter, and me. Everybody had COVID at home.
Oh,
Everyone had COVID at home. He did not have.
oh,
I have no idea how this happened,
uh,
but he did not have, because we all heard all the time, anybody having any comorbidity, any heart disease, any lung problem, etc., etc. This could be fatal. He did not have COVID ever. So I think God was writing this story himself somewhere, sitting and having fun, and we we were playing the roles assigned to us.
and
That's
also,
what all I have to
yeah.
say.
And also, like you said, that he probably didn't know what was going on, and he didn't know what he was going through medically. Um I feel that all that is nature's way of disconnecting people with the pain and the trauma. You know, nature would disconnect you. I mean, in you can say it's hallucination or in the form of foggy memory or some medical problem or the other, but it disconnects you from your past.
Possible,
You know,
possible,
yeah, I believe, I believe that.
possible, very much possible.
So, through this caregiving, what were your most important learnings, both the visible and the invisible aspects of it?
Um, so the first reflection that I have, as I said, I really feel fortunate that I got this opportunity. Number one. Number two, you realize that uh, how important is to spend time with the loved ones. ये ये रोज की, इसको बोलते हैं ना, रोज की आपाधापी जो होती है, इसमें समय नहीं मिलता और इसमें ध्यान भी नहीं जाता है. एंड इनफैक्ट ऐसे कुछ कुछ मेम्स और कुछ कुछ जोक आते थे कोविड के दिनों में. देन I stayed the full week with my parents, and man, they are good people. इस तरीके इस तरीके के मजाक आते थे, लेकिन
Yeah.
ये बहुत ये एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है, इसको छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए. उस समय बहुत तकलीफ होती है, फिजिकल, मेंटल, समटाइम्स फाइनेंशियल, लेकिन बहुत सुकून मिलता है इसका. यू फील रियली ब्लेस्ड, एंड यू फील that these things matter, these small things matter in life, and you suddenly feel that there's so much around, there's so much good wishes, there's so much blessings, there's so much uh, you know uh, ashirwad around, that it is helping you uh, cross any any battle of life, any journey, howsoever difficult it is, with so easily. So spending time, um, uh, another good story that I think I've mentioned this in the book also. My father used to sing, he was an amazing singer, and uh, मुझे भी थोड़ा थोड़ा गाने का शौक रहता है. तो बहुत सारी शाम को ऐसा होता था उनसे गाए नहीं, बिकॉज all said and done, the fact of the matter is that his health was deteriorating by the day. So एक टाइम ऐसा आ गया था जब उनसे वो गाना चाह रहे थे और नहीं गाया जाता था उनसे. तो एक ट्रेंड बन गया था हमारा, कुछ करने के लिए है नहीं, एक ट्रेंड बन गया था शाम को यहाँ बैठो मेरे सामने और ये गाना सुनाओ. तो मैं गाना सुनाता था, वो गाना सुनते थे, कभी कभी हम इसको रिकॉर्ड कर लेते थे. सो ये फन आप नॉर्मल लाइफ में कहाँ सोचते हैं कि यू विल हैव साथ में मेडिटेशन करते हैं, साथ में ये करते हैं. तो मैंने जैसा बोला रंजीत जी, मुझे वाकई ऐसा लगता है कि कोविड वाज ब्लेसिंग इन डिस्गाइज फॉर मी ड्यूरिंग दैट पीरियड. आई हैड maybe in 50 years the time that I could not spend with him, I could spend in those 2 years with everybody in my family, especially with my father. So the learning is that um, uh, spend as much as time that you could with your loved one, because every day passes by, every minute passes by, it won't come back.
And also about COVID, what you said, and I had done a podcast with Professor Vinay Sharma of IIT, and he and three of his friends, who are all professors, have written a book about lessons of COVID.
Mhm.
And in that, he said some very beautiful things, that actually COVID was there to teach us to slow down and to redefine our development paradigms, that what are we actually here for and what are we searching for, and also to slow down and and not to mess with nature.
Sure, sure.
And so it's been like quite a few years now since COVID, and I asked him also at that time, and I want to ask you also that, do you think that we have learned these lessons and are we following them?
To answer your question, I have, and I'm very seriously following it, very, very seriously.
Glad to know.
One of the reason could be that I talk about 1,000 days very often with friends like you.
Hmm.
So it reminds me. It something or the other keeps reminding me that those 1,000 days were precious. Uh, make them 10,000, make them 20,000. So I yes, the वही जिंदगी की आपाधापी भागा दौड़, it pulls you away from this. But I tend to come back, come back, come back. Uh, uh, so three interesting things that I want to share here that I learned during those days and continued. So in these COVID days, I started my podcast, and I spoke to different people from different walks of life. Uh, I also learned during, so it was an initiation during this. So I spoke to all the stalwarts from different walks of life. So every conversation was a lot of learning. And of course, so I would say it was a COVID
Listen.
this thing, COVID lesson. Now, and I want to actually reach from there till today. So while I was doing this podcast, and suddenly I got into running, and कुछ और करने के लिए नहीं है, हेल्थ पे करना चाहिए तो रन करो. This was actually past COVID and maybe past 2022. Uh, uh, so while I was doing COVID and I got into running and fitness, etc., and simultaneously my daughter also said that you should read books. So I was doing running, I was doing podcast, and I started to read books. And now, so while I was doing running, I got a book in my hand. It's called The Running Effect by Sweta Samota. Sweta Samota is also an author coach. I got that book. In that book, Ranjit ji, it was mentioned that successful people in life do three things. They read, they run, and they write. तो
Uh-huh.
मुझे लगा भाई 50 साल की उम्र हो गई है, अब तो सक्सेसफुल हो जाना चाहिए. I should write also. So I started writing. Now, what do I write? So I so that's how Pocket Square happened. Now, Pocket Square, incidentally, is a collection of 24 microbiographies, and those microbiographies are picked up from season one of my YouTube channel called Jane and Jane with Rajiv Mathur. And those 24 stories, I interviewed those people, and that converted into a book.
Yeah, wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
my author journey has a connect to those 1000 days as well.
Yes. Yes.
So those 24 stories, microbiographies of those 24 stalwarts of the security industry in the first season, because that's where I belong, became my first book. And once I wrote my first book, I thought I have to write the second. Then when I wrote the second, I'm actually working on the third, and the Hindi version has already come. And because I wrote the book, it is because of the book that you think good enough for me to invite and give me an opportunity to speak to you. So from there to here, that's the connection.
Mm. It so what you're saying, it opened up a whole new world for you, which you would have never thought.
Never
That
thought,
one
never thought.
minute, that 1 minute
Yeah,
has opened up a whole new world for you as well.
100%.
Caregiving often requires, to put aside one's aspirations and even basic needs. So, well, I think you have already answered that a lot. That you wanted to do it and you enjoyed doing it, and that's how you remember it, and there is nothing much else you feel about that, right?
Yeah, it's a matter of choice.
Yeah, yeah.
And as I said, I feel fortunate enough that I got this opportunity.
Yeah, but what about the professional and financial pressures, that come with long-term caregiving, and how did you manage these, and how would you reflect on these? Because others can also learn from your experience.
Definitely, physical, mental, financial pressures come. The fact of the matter is that we all know that the medical expenses are skyrocketing these days. Um I was going through the same. It was COVID. If you read the book, I had just taken up a new assignment 10 days ago. I had no kind of, so to say, source of income. But I also said that God has been extremely kind, that I have an amazing support system. So none of these, I mean, of course, I felt the physical tiredness. I, of course, felt mentally drained. I also felt financially broke, but I had the support system which worked for me. And but all said and done, and if this could be a learning for the viewers, that no matter whatever happens, the life has to go on. Life must go on. You can't just shatter everything because of one. So you have to have your support system. You have to have uh, your alternate mediums. You have to have enough in your bank of relationships, of friendships, financial banks, uh, whatever that you can sit back, relax, and use any one of them. If you have nothing, if you have none, then there is a problem. So I would confess, I may have exhausted the financial availability, but I had the support system which worked at
At,
that time. So
yeah,
it is all about the surroundings that you live in, the ecosystem that you have. or the community that you have that help. Sometimes physically and emotionally as well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Sometimes physically and emotionally, a set of friends. Sometimes you need a friend who calls up every week and say, "Thiko, good enough."
Good enough, yes.
That's the contribution.
That's a contribution.
Every so okay, and honestly, I have friends. We speak two times a year. His birthday, my birthday. That's all,
Good song.
and good enough. It's good enough. Happy birthday, सब ठीक चल रहा है. Happy birthday, सब ठीक. That's all. But all of us in such scenario would know that if there is a situation, then he or I or somebody would need help. Who to fall back on. Sometimes. तो जब आपके पास कोविड जितना समय होता है तो आप कभी कभी बहुत सारी चीजें सोचते हैं. तो उनमें से एक सोच ऐसी कभी कभी आती है जब when you are overwhelmed and thinking a lot of negative things at times, then you ask a question to yourself: who is the first one who will give you your kidney? It is a difficult question to answer, and I'm not asking you or anybody in the audience, but think about it. Who will give your kidney if required? आई डोंट नो ये लिस्ट कितना बड़ा होती है या होती है कि नहीं होती लोगों के जीवन में. मुझे ऐसा लगता है ये लिस्ट होनी चाहिए. एंड
Yeah,
एंड दैट्स व्हाट मैटर्स.
it will be an eye opener.
इट विल बी एन आई ओपनर.
Yeah.
You may not have to ask people, but whom do you think would do? मैं बोल रहा हूँ किडनी तो चलिए बहुत बड़ी बात है. Think about who will give you a bottle of 1 unit of blood. People don't do that.
Uh-huh.
we
Was that?
we, we still have, blood donation is a campaign that a country like India has to run. There is
Yes.
shortage of people who die because of shortage of blood today, even today in our country. तो बहुत कुछ करने की जरूरत है. एक कम्युनिटी बनाने का है, अपना अपना एक इकोसिस्टम हर एक के पास होना चाहिए. मैं आपका दोस्त हूँ तो आप मेरे दोस्त भी हैं. ये टू वे. ये हाउ दिस रिलेशनशिप इज बिल्ट, दैट्स इम्पोर्टेंट.
Yeah. But a person in your situation and in a situation where the person is a caregiver and with limited financial support or means, so I'm sure that at that time you must have explored a lot of ways to be able to earn money, and even during COVID when we were all sitting inside. Because I also remember I was going after projects which I could do sitting at home. So what choices does one have? What options does one have?
You're right. I had to undergo a lot of this stress as well. COVID, no work. I had, a new assignment which didn't work. Couldn't work. Didn't. It would have worked if I would have put in time. Couldn't work. Uh, yeah. So I was also doing some, and I mentioned, I think, in the book that I started doing some pro bono, you know, but. Yeah, the life has to go on. You have to have a resilience. You have to have willpower. You have to have strength and energy to keep doing something big. And at certain situations when you also feel that there are five more people who are dependent on you, and suddenly somebody needs extra care, extra help, extra medical attention, etc. Then you have to be stronger at times. You can't actually sit down and say, "यार मेरे बस की नहीं है, let me jump from the 10th floor." That's not the answer. कुछ तो करना ही होगा. And I think patience, positive mindset, uh, uh, a will to get out of this situation helps, and that's a matter of practice. But as I mentioned, a support system does wonder for people. It does wonder for people.
You mentioned pro bono work, and I think that if one starts doing pro bono work, and that often leads to some real concrete work.
It definitely does. It definitely does. It also sees your intent.
Yeah,
If
your
you
own
know,
discipline.
your own discipline. काम तो
Yeah.
करना है यार.
Uh,
So if you are doing pro bono, the other person also knows that he is doing pro bono.
mm,
And some days somebody will ask you, कब तक करोगे यार? Let's do something about it, and then
mm.
it works.
In your book, you also described a point where you sort of, how should I put it, broke down, or I would say you got overwhelmed by everything, and you wrote a letter to your family support system, to the people. So, reflecting back on that moment, what do you think brought that on?
Yes, so that was one night, and I was totally overwhelmed, extremely stressed, financially, physically, mentally, and I think I mentioned in this book, and I'm very kind. God has been really kind when I say this, that, and I've repeatedly said this in last 35 minutes so many times, that your support system has to be strong. So in our family, it's all brothers. There's no concept of cousins here. You know, uh, that's what. And I said, ki, and it was not a letter or an email. It was a small message. So I wrote to all of them and said, "यार मुझसे नहीं हो रहा. I mean, this is the situation, and what can do something." So everything happened, not something. Everything happened within no time, and they all helped. No questions asked. So as I said, that it is sometimes, I have also learned another thing, by the way. Good question. That asking for help, there is no shame in asking for help. It's
Hmm.
fine.
Hmm.
हम लोग यार, मैं कैसे मांगू उससे, कैसे पूछूं उससे, कैसे
Hmm.
मदद के लिए बोलूं उसको. ये आधे लोग इसी उसमें परेशान हो जाते हैं. और उसको, एंड आई एडमिट कि शायद मुझे भी नहीं आता था ये पहले. मुझको ईगो लगता था ये. हाउ कैन आई आस्क फॉर हेल्प? आई एम ए मैन ऑफ 25 years old, 30 year old, 6 feet tall, गुड लुकिंग. हर कोई सोचता है, मैं भी सोचता हूँ दैट आई एम गुड
Hmm.
लुकिंग. मैं, व्हाई शुड आई आस्क आस्क फॉर हेल्प? आई विल डू इट. बट asking for help uh, is humbleness, is kindness, that I've learned. It's fine. It's okay. If somebody is ready to help, he or she will. If not, it's fine. They can't. If they could help, they will. But ask. If you don't ask, the answer is no.
Also, a lot of people in this long-term caregiving role, because I keep reading on Instagram, on some accounts who talk about being a caregiver and what pressures they are in that, and most of them, they don't seek help, I think, and also they are not expecting anybody to help them. You know.
ये ये दुविधा है साहब. ये
हाँ.
ये बड़ी अलग, अच्छा, अलग अलग कल्चर्स में ये अलग अलग परेशानी है.
So I'm talking about people who live abroad. Like these are accounts from US and yeah,
हाँ.
yeah, yeah.
हाँ, so अलग अलग कल्चर में अलग.
Hmm.
मुझे किस आई वांट टू शेयर a small incident here. I was in London in 2008 or 10. I don't exactly remember. And I had a meeting with this gentleman. Very unusual. This gentleman came half an hour late. Totally, kind of परेशान and उजड़ा हुआ इंसान जैसे, that to define in our expressive way. And he was really, and he came, sorry Rajiv, and I'm late, and I'm really upset about my parents, and I'm not able to do best for them, etc. And this was a shocker to me, because I understood that, in those cultures, it uh, it's independence most of the times, and uh, hardly people are so emotionally connected. And I thought, and I asked him what happened. You know, what is the problem? What is that? No, actually, I've been struggling for last 7 days. I'm struggling for last 7 days, and I'm not able to find a good old age home for them. For me it was, and he was parishan.
Mm.
So the problem was that the earlier old age home that they were staying in, they were shifting or renovating or something. They had to shift to another one, and he was not able to find one. That was the problem.
Mm.
In our country, the culture, if somebody talks like this in our culture, it's a shocker to most of us.
Mm.
Even if today there are nuclear families, even if you know we are we are still connected. This,
Mm.
I think, if you're staying here, would never be a problem that I'm not able to find old age
Mm.
home for मैं ये मुझे लगता है, हो सकता है मैं 20 साल पहले चल रहा हूँ या 50 साल पहले चल रहा हूँ दुनिया में, बट मेरी यही फीलिंग है आज भी, और यही हमारी भारतीय सभ्यता की एक पहचान है, एंड आई एम वेरी प्राउड ऑफ इट, of this culture, and I'm very proud of this kind of community living and help that we do to each other.
Yeah, because actually abroad, these homes are also, this whole caregiving is also institutionalized in a very organized way, and many parents also themselves, they want to be, on their own in a facility, and facilities, the concept of facilities has also kept on changing. Like now in India, we also have facilities which are actually, you know communities which live in very spacious and convenient, I would say, that they build societies which are convenient for old age people to live in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The culture is coming here as well.
Yeah,
So true,
yeah.
so true.
So, I mean, but of course, culturally, we still don't look at that choice. And with the rise of nuclear families, I think in the near future, many couples who are on their own now, many people who are on their own now, will definitely start looking at that
Possible,
aspect.
possible, possible.
What about the medical fraternity, and what reflections do you carry from there? And you have described many things about what is going on in the medical field, because you yourself have been part of it, and uh, the many services which have started, the ambulance service which you were talking about. So, what are your reflections?
Yes, absolutely yes, absolutely yes. Um so by virtue of my work, which is security, I got a lot of opportunities to work in a lot of hospitals. So I understand how the hospital work, the operation side of it, not the medical side of it. But you keep meeting doctors, etc., etc. But so during my podcast season 2, I actually got connected to a lot of. I interviewed a lot of doctors, people from the medical fraternity, etc., etc. So there are some people who are doing amazing job. They are doing amazingly well. But all said and done, how commercialized it is, how expensive it is, whatever it is.
Yes, yes.
But medical people, after doing I most of the times I ask all of them, and I asked in my podcast to all of them that कि आप इतनी मुश्किल पढ़ाई करके इतना मुश्किल काम क्यों करते हैं? ये आपके दिमाग में क्या? It's at the end of the day, we only say that medical is a noble profession. Medicine is a noble. We still say it, and that's an old saying. How we saw them working during COVID. Many of them sacrificed their life. Many of them sacrificed the lives of their family, but this they still stood. We heard shortage of PPE kits. We heard shortage of vaccines. We heard shortage of cylinders. We heard oxygen cylinders. We heard the shortage of medical beds, but we never heard shortage of people,
Personnel, yes.
shortage of doctors,
Yeah.
shortage of nurses. We never heard in two
Yes,
and a half
yes.
years. Never ever once. On the other hand, we heard, you know, the family of XYZ person going and beating that doctor who's been on duty for 72 hours in 48-degree temperature in that PPE kit. Somebody's going and beating him. Um, um, so while during the COVID, of course, we learned, but while I was doing the work on my book, I spoke to many of the doctors. I spoke to all of them whom I interviewed then, and especially Dr. Parinita, who's the main, I would say protagonist in the
In your
book
book.
and
Yeah.
in my book.
Yeah. He
And
was your,
she,
she was your, just a word about her, since you mentioned her, that she was your father's cardiologist,
a general physician,
general physician, and
general physician.
also then became a very close friend of yours, of your
Yes,
family. Yes.
yes, family friends. So I spoke to her. What kind of incidences? What do you think about it? And what happened during COVID? And so there are few such stories that I could briefly mention in the book that two separate people, husband and wife, in two different hospitals, they ensured that they speak to each other, and
Uh-huh.
after half an hour, both of them died, etc. There is this company couple of them I mentioned in the book. This gentleman, young boy doing fairly well in his business, started a ambulance service because his grandfather could not be treated well in time because of the shortage of ambulance reaching the ambulance right in time. I have stories of people like what's his Kiran Kumar, he lost his son because of he could not get 1 unit of blood. So he walked from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and keep establishing blood banks across the country. He walked for like 87,000 kilometers, walked, multiple times. So there are people who are doing amazing things for the work.
Mm-hmm.
I have also mentioned about Dr. Suchin Bajaj, who single-handedly, he did a massive operation during the COVID, and he somehow made a set of, I don't know, 10,000 doctors, and he led those 10,000 doctors into COVID camps across the country. My foreword of this book is written by Dr. Vijay Rai. Dr. Vijay Rai is my school senior and medical bureaucrat. He has served as the senior medical officer in government of Delhi for a long, long time. He's the one who was also involved in automation of the government hospitals in India. He was the one who is involved in Pulse Polio Drive. An amazing person. He said to me something which always stays in my mind. He says, Rajiv, with your book, while he was reading the manuscript to write the draft, and he's mentioned in his foreword that after I finished my profession and after I've retired, doing 35, 40 years of service, I've realized that one statement that we make to for the patient, to that attendant or the caregiver, affects the entire family for years. I
Yes.
never realized that while I was wearing the white coat.
Yeah.
That is his statement he made. He also said that sometimes caregivers or the attendants of the patient do not realize that behind that white coat is also a human being, same human being.
I have also come across many startups. I think one is mentioned in your book as well, who are creating these sort of spaces of uh, taking hospital care to rural areas or to smaller towns.
Yeah, yeah,
Opening smaller clinics, but with the world class facilities, for example, for things like dialysis,
yes,
where patients can't travel or to big cities all the time. So a lot is happening actually in that
a
field.
lot. And with your permission, and I would definitely like to take the names of, as I mentioned, Dr. Suchin Bajaj. He runs something called Ujala Cygnus, and the motto of this his company is that take world-class healthcare facility to the tier two, tier three cities, and he's doing wonderfully well. And not expensive. That class, but not expensive. Number one. Number two, there is this gentleman who has started a ambulance service called Hanuman Care, only in the rural area where ambulance was not, could not have ever reached. He's doing that. The third, somebody is doing an amazing job. As I said, that Kiran Kumar, who's walked so much, um, healthcare at home, like kind of a services. Healthcare at home is, of course, a very metro-centric when they started, but now they're in many cities. So
Yeah, but
now there are multiple of them. But yes, like that. There are Ranjit. There are amazing people who are doing things in life for safety of life and people. There is this fellow. His name is Ravindra Singh. Is known as Helmet Man of India. You know the story of Helmet Man of
yeah,
India?
I think I've heard of him.
He wears the helmet whenever he goes out of the house, all the time, because he lost one of his friend in colleges because he was not wearing a helmet and he had an accident.
Oh,
So he promotes that wearing helmet selflessly. He sits in an aeroplane with a helmet. He sits in a car. He sits in a bus. Wherever he travels, great friend of mine. I keep meeting him but see the gesture.
yeah.
How difficult it is actually all the time to wear a helmet in 50 degrees.
And
He's
also to
just doing that
answer people's questions about it every time, everywhere.
every time.
Yeah,
So amazing people are doing amazing things
yeah.
you know, to help communities, help save lives, to help, which I would consider equally noble as people in the medical profession.
But there's one thing which always riles me, and because I'm also I in this situation of long-term caregiving, that something that used to be there in the earlier generations, that is of home visits by doctors. And when you have elderly people in the house, or you can't, because you need to refer to multiple doctors, and you can't take the patient to multiple doctors because it's taxing for them and on you as well. So something like home visits by doctors, it's very rare, and most of them, they refuse.
उसके
What?
दो कारण मुझे लगते हैं, मुझे दो कारण लगते हैं रंजीत जी। पहला ये कि टेक्नोलॉजी has improved to a greater extent. Uh, how technology helps? One is that you have a video conference facility available.
Yeah, yeah. That
Thanks
is
to
now.
thanks to
That is now. But
thanks
I'm talking.
thanks to COVID.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Thanks to COVID, so this has
yeah, yeah.
happened. But yes, this trend is declining. The other reason that I could think is वो अभी ना वो नब्ज देख के कोई डॉक्टर इलाज नहीं करता है।
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I would say technology है, whatever it is, उसमें मैं वो नहीं करना चाह रहा हूँ।
They look at
But
your
पहले
reports. Yeah,
look at your reports. So
yeah.
the reports you don't need to actually have to physically meet the patient. They will say ये वाले टेस्ट करा दो रिपोर्ट मेरे को व्हाट्सएप से भेज देना कैसे भेज देना I
Yeah,
will
but
see do a video call and give you the answer.
yeah,
तो
but
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वो वाली फीलिंग नहीं है कि डॉक्टर साहब घर आ रहे हैं और आप उनका सब केस गेट तक छोड़ने जा रहे हैं वो नहीं होता है but technology has improved and this is for good. That's what my feeling is.
yeah.
वो वाली फीलिंग नहीं आती डॉक्टर साहब आ रहे हैं और अपन को रूह अफ़ज़ा पिला रहे हैं और बाहर तक टैक्सी लेके उनको छोड़ने जा रहे हैं बट मुझे ऐसा लगता है गांव कूचो कस्बों में आज भी ऐसा होता है
हाँ, पर यहाँ नहीं होता, and that is the only thing which is reassuring in such a situation. Getting a
हाँ
doctor to visit home when you are facing an emergency situation. And also, you talked about the technology part, but the doctors, at least for the first time, they do insist on seeing the patient. When you're
yes
going to a new doctor, he will say you bring him once, or
yes
you bring her once, and then
yes
subsequent to that, you can always come just with the
sure
reports.
sure
So,
sure
so that is
sure
one thing I think in geriatrics. If anybody from the medical field is listening, especially in the administration part, that this is something which long-term caregivers they miss, and it could be a very big boost and a big help, and also bring a little bit of relief in the tension and strain of people who are doing this.
बिल्कुल आप ठीक कह रहे हैं और ये बहुत ही डायनेमिक
Hmm.
सिचुएशन है. नाउ थिंकिंग अबाउट मेडिकल फ्रेटर्निटी, बीइंग ए केयर गिवर एंड ए सिक्योरिटी प्रोफेशनल,
Yeah.
ये अगर मैं तीनों हेड पहनूं एक साथ, तो आज की डेट में क्या सिचुएशन होगी? सिचुएशन ये हो गई है दैट इफ यू आर अ डॉक्टर इन विजिटिंग होम एंड इफ यू कुडंट ट्रीट द पर्सन करेक्टली, योर लाइफ इज इन डेंजर योरसेल्फ.
Uh,
आई हैव हर्ड केस, हेल्थ केयर एट होम, healthcare at home kind of services, healthcare at home. I'm just not taking the name only
mhm.
for so healthcare. I have heard situations where they send the help, the nurse or the,
Yeah,
you
yeah, they
know,
do.
the
They
male,
do.
and the attendants there, or the, you know, the family, etc., they misbehave with these people.
Hmm.
I have heard this situation. I have heard this situation as a security professional,
Mhm.
and we had to,
Yeah, yeah, I
provide
get.
security.
Yeah, but there are also
So
now this since you mentioned there are also people now offering this elder care at home, like you mentioned a little while back, and that's
yes,
something very organized, and
very
of course
organized. Yes,
that is more at the level of if you want to get some tests done, or if you want to get physiotherapy done, or if you want to get a companion, like an attendant. So only till that level, but the actual doctor level is still not there.
still
Maybe
missing.
somebody will
Still
plug
missing.
this also.
Brilliant,
We'll
brilliant
do that.
startup idea.
You have a like a roving clinic, going around and going around on around and having clients or patients who are clients. So that could be.
मैं रंजीत जी, दिल, अभी जब आपने ये बात बोली, मैं दिल से दुआ करता हूँ कि ये एपिसोड जरूर कोई देखे और एटलीस्ट ये वाला क्लिपिंग देखे कि आपने क्या जबरदस्त आइडिया दिया है. First, not only for for the medical fraternity, but as a startup idea also.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so that gap is still there, and I think a lot of caregivers would benefit a lot with this. And let it be institutionalized. And I don't mind if I think people have money to pay for that. People would find the
Sure,
money to pay for that because with caregiving, you have to. There are at least 4 to 5 doctors you are referring to at the same time.
sure, sure,
You
sure.
know. So just one more question, two more questions actually. Your father passed away in 2022, almost at the end of COVID, and 1,000 days after a cardiac arrest. What reflections or truths stayed with you from that final phase?
Uh, uh, I couldn't do when the Scorpio woke up. I couldn't do nothing. I was again not at home at that time, and it just happened in 5 minutes. So whatever has to happen will happen. Number one, uh, let's uh, let's make the best use of every minute that we have in life, and it's important to have a set of close friends, and family is the best support that one can have in life. They will, the family will never reject you.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, these are the learnings that uh, the generation sometimes tends to forget. But you know, my father used to tell me this story, and it holds very true to me also. He would say that whatever the problem that I'm having while he was doing his chemistry honors or whatever, he will come with a problem of chemistry, sit with his mother and say, "बउआ," बोलते थे पहले मदर, "बउआ मुझे ये वाली इक्वेशन समझ नहीं आ रही, इसका क्या करना है?" बोलेंगे जरा देखो, ठीक से समझ आ जाएगा. बोले हाँ मुझे समझ आ गया. She did not know nothing of chemistry. And I think मेरे साथ भी वो कभी कभी होता है, मैं कि क्या करूँ, ऐसे में कुछ हो नहीं रहा है, क्या समझ नहीं आ रहा. सोचो सोचो ध्यान से, जरा देखो ध्यान से, समझ आ जाएगा. वो समझ आ जाता है मुझे. So this is just an example that the younger generation should you know have their own takeaways from this, the two parallel stories that I have said, and both are true. Uh, maybe the next could be my son could answer this, that would he connect with that, but all the younger generation. So what I'm trying to say is family is the best plan to fall back on, to depend upon. They will never disappoint you. The family will never disappoint you.
What lessons you would want other caregivers to remember, or what would you leave behind for them to to learn from your experience?
First, and I would repeat for the sake of repeating, it is an opportunity that everybody don't get. Let's not miss it. Let's grab every minute. Let's grab every second of such opportunity if you get to care for somebody. Caring, that's one. Number two, caring should be a nature, not a compulsion. You know, it gives you, if you care for others. I was I read it somewhere that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So it's important, that you should care about things that you do. You should care about the words that you say. You should care about the relationship that you have. You should care about the minutes opportunity that you get. Nourish them, nurture them, relish them, cherish them, and that's how life will always remain happy and satisfied. I mean, stresses will come, tensions will come, problems will come, but you care for things.
So you are taking the lesson away from day-to-day management to the larger aspects which have stayed with you. I guess you have forgotten the problems which you faced, but a larger lesson or a larger aspect which which stays with you, which stayed with you.
Absolutely. As I said, those 1,000 days were tough for me. While I was writing them, they were tougher because going back to the memory was very tough for me. But I think few months ago, when I was actually preparing for my Hindi version, that I read English version as a book. I read it as a book, not as the manuscript. And then I realized, जैसे कि हर हलवाई को अपनी मिठाई अच्छी लगती है. I realized what an amazing book it is. And uh, I was actually talking to another interesting thing that I learned, that I was talking to somebody and he advised me, to a filmmaker, to be honest, and he advised me, ये book ना बहुत अच्छी है, किताब बहुत अच्छी है, बट राजीव भाई आप हिंदी में बोलते हो, हिंदी में सोचते हो, इसलिए इस किताब को हिंदी में लिखो. And that's how the Hindi version came, and I have rewritten that in Hindi. So of course I had to refer to that. I had to go back to memories. I had to go back to my scribbled notes, etc. But I rewrote the Hindi version, and it has come up so well, better than the. So I don't say that the, and they look differently also. I thought I'd keep it here.
Okay.
So they also look different
Ah.
because it's a different version altogether.
So your image is that of a watch of time in the new book.
Here Here the image, you have seen this book. Here the
Yes.
images of those, I said 24,000 hours. I had to go and check if the Scorpio's still awake, or sitting or whatever. The Hindi version is the lessons that I've learned with time. The time is of essence, and it says there is a heart line which was running and it stopped, and it start fluctuating again. That's how the indie book is. Different, little different um, than the English one. Uh,
The picture
so yeah,
picture carries a lot of meaning.
yes,
The image.
yes, yes, yes. And as you very rightly said, yes, I have forgotten the pain, the overwhelming trauma, the stress, etc. But I can't. I mean, what do I do with that pain anymore? So the good thing is to stay happy, remember happy things about that period. I made good friends during that time. Dr. Parinsa, for example, is one, like many others. And I cherish those moments now. I can't do anything about it, but it was tough time. And whenever whosoever gets into that kind of a situation, and I'm not asking that, enjoy that. You can't. But now what? It's better to learn from what happened and stay happy, keep happy memories from that time.
Okay, so
That
on
is
that,
that is what I think.
and that's very positive of you. And on that happy note, I would like to say thank you so much for joining me today and being part of Books and Us, the first video podcast of Books and Us. And best of luck for your coming years for this translated book and also for all your work in the program which you have on YouTube.
Thank you so much, Ranjit ji. I feel fortunate enough to be the first one on the video podcast. I will remember. This will always remain special for you and for me.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
I'm in the first podcast. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I feel really delighted and thankful to you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you and bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.